Welcome, citizens and soldiers. I am your host, the General. Help this message reach the brothers and sisters that need to hear it. Like, share, and subscribe. Ring the notification bell and please comment. Let the community hear your voice loud and clear in the comment section. Lastly, try and be somewhat nice to each other down there, people. So, for tonight's subject matter, are you a good follower? Have you ever wondered why you can't manage to find yourself somebody that's a good leader? Can't ever find good leadership in somebody? Have you ever considered the fact that maybe you're just not a good follower? Well, let's get into it. Well, let's start out with an example. Let's say pulled over by a police officer. Police officer pulls you over, walks up to the vehicle. You have no idea what the reason why is, and the police officer, you think, may have pulled you over for any number of reasons. Maybe he thought you sped through that stop sign or whatever. And so you get ready to open your mouth and start telling the police officer something. The police officer immediately puts his hands up and says, "Sir, ma'am, license, registration, and insurance." Right? You get ready to tell them something else. License, registration, and insurance, please. So you give them the license, registration, and insurance, and they step back to the back of the vehicle and they walk around the vehicle writing down things on their little notepad and get in their patrol car. And eventually come back out, tell you your license, registration, and insurance check out. Go on and have a nice day. They don't even give you a reason as to why they made the traffic stop. Now, do you stop that police officer and say, "Officer, you gotta give me a reason for stopping me. You know, this is America. You can't just stop me. I mean, I'm supposed to be free to go wherever I want to." I think we all know the answer to that. And most of you, that's because of a few basic core principles. First of all, you understand that the officer, and authority has many different definitions, but basically, just the power to influence or command somebody's, thought or behavior, right? And the power to be able to back up that authority, right? Physical might, the ability to actually physically enact it, right? Or to produce an effect, like you ended up going to jail, right? So, my question is, let's take that to a separate scenario. Let's say you're out with your leader and you want to go do something, or you're thinking about doing something, and your leader stops you flat out and says, "No, we're not doing that. We're not doing that, and I really don't want to get into it right now. I'll explain it to you later on tonight." Now, how do most of you respond to that? Do you say whatever it is you want to say right then and there anyways? Do you start questioning them as to why? You feel like they're just trying to run you and tell you what to do? If so, you're not a very good follower. You're someone that has some kind of an issue, any number of issues that we could get into. But most probably, it wouldn't really matter because you're just not a good follower. Well, or we could say you're only a person that follows when the threat of overwhelming force is right up in front of your head. I'm like, a good follower is someone that listens first. So in the example I gave, both examples, you listen to what it is they said without interrupting, or as you should. You understand what's said to you, as in you understand what it is that they're saying, not that you agree with it or you want to do what it is that they're saying. Then you act to comply. So you gave the officer the license, registration, and insurance. Well, in the situation with your leader, you should have just listened to what they said. You didn't even have to say really anything back. But we'll get to the last part. You reflect and or ask for clarity on the decision that the leader made later on. And the reason for that is because maybe it's something that you need to learn, or it's a learnable experience, but now it's just not the time for any number of reasons, which you may or you may not understand. As an example with the police officer, the officer never told you why, and wasn't going to tell you why, but they were letting you go on about your way, so I guess most people would think no harm, no foul. Right? I would have to say that a lot of people don't understand that you lack basic respect for your leader. You either lack respect for your leader, which is why you can never have one, or you have some kind of other issue. It could be a character flaw. You're highly opinionated. We're all opinionated. Not that our opinions necessarily need to be heard, but if they are to be heard, everything has a time and a place, and that is not always right then or right there. I would like to give a few more examples just to see if this applies to you, and you can find out if you are a good follower. In an argument, the leader says to you that this is not the way that we'll be doing this, and that's final. Do you relent? Do you do what you want to do, or do you say what you want to about how you feel regardless? If so, you're a bad follower. When we had the COVID-19 outbreak, there were a lot of people that were on different sides of the fence as to whether they wanted the vaccine or they didn't want the vaccine. My question to you is, did you follow the decision of your leader in that matter? Or did you just do what you wanted to do based off of whatever it is that you got for information or whatever? If you did, you're a bad follower. For your last example, let's say you have a formal function and your leader informs you that your appearance is unacceptable and will present your group poorly. Now, do you submit or do you argue the point to get your way? Because you don't like it, because you feel like they're trying to control you, or you don't think anybody should be able to control you. Does that sound something like you would do? If so, you're a bad follower. And someone that's a bad follower typically has no leader. And someone that has no leader because no one has any kind of authority over you, or you feel as though no one should have no authority over you, leaves you with no kind of protection. So if you're ever wondering why you're not covered, or why it is that people don't want to teach or show you things that are supposed to be your leaders or have the knowledge in the field, maybe it might just be you're a bad follower. Comment below. I would love to hear what you have to say.